People of the world and people of the reefing world, this podcast is designed to be and bring to everyone in the world the feeling of what it's like after a Reef Aquarium conference or at the evening at a Reef Aquarium conference after the food has been eaten and people have relaxed. This is like those real kind of conversations that happen at that time. So if you've got a problem with words being said that you don't like, be warned that perhaps words that you don't like will be said. Welcome to Reef Beef. Today on Reef Beef, a run-of-the-mill episode, because all of our episodes are really good. We have our special guest, Logan, and we're going to figure out how to pronounce Logan's last name. But Logan is from Reef Rookies with Logan. And we often sound a little weird about Reef Rookies and new people on this show because the show's not necessarily for that. That's because of reasons. But Logan is doing it in such a way that makes me want to be part of it. So we'll get to that, and we'll learn about Logan's community and what Logan's doing and how you can help or be part of it. And we're going to catch up. This episode of Reef Beef is sponsored by
saltwateraquarium.com,
the Champion Lighting and Supply,
and powered by PolypLab.
Powered by PolypLab. Welcome to Reef Beef. Hey Ben, how's it going?
It is going well.
Your week's
How about yourself?
It's spawning week, the first week of the spawn season, and I had two hyacinthus go off.
Whoa.
The same two that went last year, and they went the year before that as well. That's how I got the F2s. But I only had the last 2 years these two colonies go off, and neither time did the cultures make it past 14 hours.
Oh, wow.
So I am guessing they're, like you and your sister married there. And that's the problem. Why
maturity?
No, they're just incompatible. Either
Okay.
they're the same genotype or too close of a genotype. Or I'm doing something incredibly wrong, which doesn't make much sense to me. The year that I got the F2, other colonies went off as well. So I'm thinking that these two are just they're too related. So hope in December we should get another chance, and maybe the Millipora will go off, and hopefully the strawberry shortcake will go off. And I suppose I better think about next year already. So I still have other colonies of hyacinthus that are just not as big, but perhaps I should try to pick up a couple.
Don't they sort of like smell what the rock is cooking in the kitchen? Like when one goes off, does it sort of induce them to?
It depends. There could be all kinds of other reasons why. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the tanks and not even talking. Why the other colonies didn't go off. A couple of them were getting stung by some gorgonians that I only discovered about a month ago. They may be a little small. Could be all kinds of stuff going on. So I suppose if I'm continuing spawning, which I can't believe I'm not, I will continue to pump up those hyacinthus, and I will try to get a couple of more.
Mm-hmm.
See if we can get them together. And see what we do in next year. And this year I got the other colonies in March instead of trying to get gravids, because I figured let's try to do it more like a hobbyist would do rather than jump starting the process. So we'll see what's happening. Hopefully it won't take a year. Hopefully I'll get a spawn next in December.
So wait, are you saying that you did you collect anything off of this recent one?
I did. Both times I had what I thought was pretty good fertilization. And then at around hour 14, they just turned to mush.
Poor settlement, or that's not even
No,
settlement.
poor fertilization, or it doesn't feel like I've done something wrong in the don't shake the baby process in the incubator. It feels like they're just crashing. And the same thing happened last year. And I got other colonies last year to spawn. Not last year, the year before. I had Millipora go, so I don't think it's a skill thing.
It's uncle cousins.
It's uncle cousins is what it feels like. So I'll probably try to get another couple hyacinthus. And like I was saying, I'm really excited about the not millipora, but I've got the what are the strawberry shortcakes?
Yeah.
And I'll try to get a few more of those. And I think I'm gonna try to get rid of some of my milliporas.
Oh,
Like
millipora
I'm gonna
overload.
like get these corals out there in January as soon as spawning is done.
Like to a facility so they could like
No, to
market it
people.
as.
I want spawn coral in people's tanks.
Let them eat cake.
Yeah, coming
Facilities.
from somebody. Sorry, I didn't mean to jump in like
Jump
that,
in,
but
No,
Logan.
you're the
yeah,
guest.
it was. I was listening to everything you were saying, and I am completely ignorant to coral spawning. I've never
Yeah.
looked into it. I've never researched it, anything. But is there any sort of mechanism of suppression between species that could be contributing factor to that? You know, these ones are trying to spawn, but they don't want the other species around them to do well so that their own gametes can do well and all of that. I wonder, is that a possibility even?
I think it's a possibility, but I don't think it's what's happening because
Okay.
it's a different strategy. Because I think generally in a strategy of when you're putting a billion babies out into the water or into
Mm,
the environment, um, you're not caring so much. And I'm using all kinds of anthropomorphic language. You don't care so much about screwing anyone else over at
right.
that stage. So it's just that um, the gametes are not compatible. That's what I
I got
think.
you. Okay.
I've never come across anything that all of the fights like that happen more or appear to happen more like for real estate. So once the corals settle, they'll fight the crap out of each other.
Right.
And the other, yeah, that's what I think.
I just
think-
made up a word inside of my head.
What was that word?
Reproductive allelopathy.
That's good. I don't think it's happening, but I like it.
Yeah, I made it up.
I think it would
Coin
be
that term. TM.
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 Ben and Logan's.
Yeah.
What did you call it? Spawning allelopathy?
Reproductive allelopathy.
For reproductive Ben and Logan's reproductive allelopathy.com.
I mean, Logan had nothing to do with it, but he ran in the room and threw the TM on it. So
That's right.
all of a sudden we made a
Yeah.
really fast partnership.
That's
Yeah,
right.
5% right off the
Yes.
top.
Sell it
Five.
to
That's good.
Big
Yeah, we'll just
Reefing's
go with
Finder's
5.
fee. Finder's fee.
Big Reefing will buy that out.
Yeah. A
Uh,
gift certificate to your local spaghetti warehouse.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else going on that anyone cares about. Things are clean. Oh, I've been having some thoughts. I'm working on flow for Reef Retreat, right? So I'm
Mhm.
looking at flow a lot. And I think in my display, I don't have a long enough calm time now. I think I've gone too far with the flows because it's a mixed reef. It's not just a SPS reef. So I think I need
Back
to
it down a little bit, huh?
I need to have some times where it's calmer.
Well, that's the trick. I try to make everything happy. So if
Yeah.
it's like a washing machine 24/7, your LPS are like, yo, that's enough.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it was, I have the different flows at different times of the day. I try to kind of do a slack tide and an ebb tide and an incoming tide and an outgoing tide. But I think I've gotten a little, come on, keep it going, which is probably not true, but maybe true. So I'm going to experiment with that.
You have flows in different area codes.
Yeah, I have so much flow.
Well, that's the trouble with a mixed reef too. You know,
Oh, yeah.
trying to make so many different things happy all at the same time, and everything wants something different.
Yeah.
You know?
No, what mixed reefs are stupid.
Well, sometimes
Don't do a mixed reef.
no, don't
Yeah.
even keep aquariums. That's
Don't
right.
even. Let's just get anything else, Ben. Oh, Logan, how are
Well,
your
me? I don't get a. I don't.
You
get
said everything's fine.
No, oh God, that doesn't mean. Look, Richard. Sometimes you have to pull these emotions out of me. So this last weekend, I spoke at the Boston Reefer Society. It's called Fragsgiving.
Oh, it's such a great event.
It was super cool.
Great name
it was,
too.
It was. You been there before?
No.
Okay. It was crazy because while we were there, I was looking at a plaque on the wall, and that fair has been going on longer than my state has been a state. So that put that into perspective for me. I think it was a plaque that was saying that the fair had been going on consecutively 268 years.
Wow.
Holy crap.
And that's,
Imagine what they sold earlier at the fair.
yes, like miniature goats.
Yeah, I'm sure it was all originally for the first 150 years. It was about, deep fried Twinkies.
I know they just went retroactive and
Turkey
we were
legs.
doing this fair the whole time.
Yeah,
We
turkey
showed up
legs
here.
and 4-H.
No, but it was great. I did a talk, and Meckley did a talk. Some other people did a talk, and then afterwards we went to our friend Dong's house, who's
Oh,
like,
nice.
I don't know, 30 minutes north of there,
I
Concord.
saw that.
But oh man, now of course, through my travels through the years, I've seen lots of basements with lots of corals in it, so it wasn't shocking in that regard. But I will tell you, as having stood there, like his corals were super healthy. That's the thing that I noticed. And
Well,
I could,
he's got gold water.
yeah. No, there's some like weird thing, and I'm not gonna argue with it, but like people, the local area come by and like take his water from his water changes and do their water changes with his water change. And
Hmm.
it's like, okay, it works. If it works, it works.
It's a more people should do that, I think.
Yeah.
And that's what Bob's water, the water I use, was the magic water around here for a long time.
Yeah.
It was like, if you've got a problem, just do a water change with magic water.
Magic water.
Dong's
Hey.
magic water.
Yeah, TM.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another product.
No one charges for that, so someone's leaving money on the table somewhere for that.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So people come and get his water, and what makes his water magic?
I don't think it makes his water magic, but I suppose you could say he his his aquariums are so nice and healthy. I don't know. Like, could it be a thing of like his his water change is already in better shape than if you don't know how to properly mix and store salt water or whatever's going on? I mean, I sort of rail against the thought of some sort of magic water. I think it's goofy. It's just people that know what they're doing or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
But-
definitely beneficial though that his like his aquifer and whatnot is basically pure water and also has fluoride and manganese and molybdenum in it. Like
Oh, is he
already.
getting well water?
Oh,
I
you
don't
know?
know if it's well or how exactly he gets it, but he doesn't use an RODI system on, or at least that's what I gather from a talk that I saw him doing
Huh.
on over on one of the other channels. But his plain water that comes out of his tap is already it
Totally
has
fine.
the like trace elements in it, at least 3 or 4 of them, especially for Goniopora, that the levels are like perfect.
Huh. That's lucky.
Yeah, no doubt.
Where's his water from, Ben?
Now I didn't talk to him about whether he might have been talking with Todd or someone about how he processes his water. I wasn't standing there when he did that, but it is interesting because he lives right on the edge of some like national forest. So he's sort of it's out there to my mind, like where we went, it's like out in the country, sort of way north of Boston, and it's just completely surrounded by wilderness. So if he is getting from an aquifer, it's maybe he's lucky in that it's
Yeah,
like
well,
sort of artisanal, virginal.
all right. We'll
earth
put it on
water.
the list of questions to ask Dong.
Yeah.
Because magic water, in Hawaii, they've got magic well water. In Moat in Florida, they have this magic water.
Huh.
And every attempt to kind of artificially make that water doesn't work out as well.
Would you like an animal in the room?
Saltwateraquarium.com. Saltwater Aquarium. Go, Logan. Saltwateraquarium.com. Let's swim to it. Yeah.
I'm just
Man.
jamming.
Yeah. We love saltwateraquarium.com.
Ben, why do we love saltwateraquarium.com?
We love saltwateraquarium.com because they have all the things that you're looking for.
All the things.
Yes.
They do indeed have
They
all the
do.
things.
I
Yes.
love
And
the
they-
hype manning.
Yeah, and they have the app. So like literally like Logan, have you ever woken up?
They have an app?
Yeah.
I didn't know
2:30
that.
in the morning and you're in your skivvies
Mm.
and you're choosing things. The
But
other thing is they have a psychic division and they know when and what you're going to order. And a lot of times the app is just a ruse because they've already sent your package to you and you didn't even open the app yet.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's
Impressive customer service.
They're one of their shipping locations is located at Roswell.
Yeah.
So they have all the things they need. So check them
Leyline.
out. saltwateraquarium.com.
Saltwateraquarium.com.
You got to do the flow. Yeah,
Yeah.
we synced up on that one.
did.
Would you like an animal in the room?
And Logan, knowing nothing about you, what's the update on your personal tanks?
Which one? There's 6 of them.
Well, just pick something interesting
All right,
going on.
So we'll
or
pick
two.
two. One interesting thing. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but I have a 2-foot tall wine glass tank.
Yeah.
It's got a Delua pixel light on it, and there's no filtration, deep sand bed,
Yeah.
Gene Gelbert style kind of situation, And I ordered some Tampa Bay rock to seed my big tank that's behind me here, and it came with some macros. So there's a Dragon's Breath, a Halomedia, and I think a Calurpa in there, and I didn't have anywhere to put it because I don't have a refugium set up with a light and all that. So I stuck it in the wine glass. That wine glass tank has been running hands off for a year now. It's growing SPS. I've got 3 different types of SPS in it, and tank was looking great. There was absolutely nothing going on. So I put that macro in there, and I assume this is what happened. I think that it stripped any of nutrients that were left in that tank at all because I don't dose it. I don't even check the water parameters. And since doing that, it now has cyano and dinoflagellates, and the glass stays just brown all the time. So I'm having to try to revert that mistake, and I've taken the algae out and put it somewhere else. So
Do you do
now
water
it's time
changes on
to-
that?
I haven't before. I
So
haven't
that tank's
been
been running for how long without any water changes?
over a year.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah, and it's about 2.5 gallons of volume.
And you
but
just top off with fresh water?
that's it. Just top off with RODI. I don't feed the tank. I don't touch it. I don't check the parameters. I couldn't tell you what the parameters are,
That's
which I
awesome.
assume now they're zapped. They're probably zeros
Yeah.
or close.
You could
But
have also been allelopathy.
Yeah.
Reproductive.
The reproductive kind. Yeah.
Yeah. Because in such a small volume, a lot of forest rowers work is about algae fighting the corals that we like. And my takeaway from the stuff that he's put out has been proximity. So, SPS are fine if they're far enough away from the algae. But if you put them close, bad things happen.
That's interesting. Yeah, because I mean, when I stuck that stuff in there, it was a pretty good, like tennis ball size chunk of halomedia, and when I put it in there, there's really not much room in that tank, so it was physically touching the bird's nest and the Pacillipora that's in there. So I don't know, but it definitely screwed up the microbiome in that tank, and everything just went to shit all of a sudden. And
oh no,
it was like 24 hours. I went to bed, it was fine. I woke up, and it was just bad all around. So now I've got to work to get it back where it needs to be, and I'm going to water change with the water out of the main tank behind me because the nutrients are sufficient in that one. And
I was going to say, from my part and thoughts about that is a scenario like that is a fun experiment, and I think it's going to work while it works. But that comes down to like depletion of minerals and nutrients, and especially once you change by like putting algae in there, you're just changing what's being drawn out or added in. And the experiment could be fun without maybe like without skimming, without this or that. But I feel like in the long run, like water changes are paramount.
I agree completely, and that's what it was. It was an experiment. I wanted to see how long I could run a Pico tank hands off. No feeding, nothing. There's no animals. Well, that's not true. There is a single small harlequin shrimp in there. So once a week he gets a starfish leg, but other than that, I don't touch that tank. It just runs.
Yeah, very cool.
It really showed me though how small changes can make huge differences.
Oh yeah.
A lot of the time we go to attack a problem and we do all of these things to try to fix this problem when sometimes you just need the one thing. I put the macros in there and everything shit the bed. So, maybe we need to slow down a bit.
Yeah. Well, and then I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
And then we do 5 things. And then it fixes if it fixes, and we go, oh, is this one thing? It's like, man, you don't know.
Yeah, when you introduce 5 variables like that, you don't know which one was the actionable, one. So it makes it difficult to be able to repeat those results.
Yeah. What's the other thing?
The other thing was the 180 behind me, which I incorrectly called a 220 for like a year. I had the measurements all wrong, but no, it's doing well. But recently I went up to Polo Reef, and the night before, of course, because it always happens the night before you fly out,
Oh,
my
yeah.
skimmer started acting funky, right? And I didn't want to take it apart and rip it apart and try to reset it all that one night, so I just left it. Turns out it was a snail in the intake of the skimmer. I could have fixed it
Ah,
in 32 seconds, but I didn't, and that led to a chain of events with me being gone on the trip. The phosphate spiked and whatnot, so now all my acros are pissed.
no.
Well, not all of them. There's a couple of them that are doing okay, but they're browning out on the tips, growing little brown algae on the tips of the acros and stuff. So now I'm having to get that fixed back too, bring the phosphates back down. They doubled in like a week. It went from like
How long has that tank been set up?
I'm terrible with dates, but it's been
Just general.
since I reset the tank, it's been about 6 months ish.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, because
Well,
it
that's
was this tank. It was set up over in a different part of my house, and it ended up with some sort of an algae that I could not get rid of. And I did everything in the book, tried everything, finally resorted to medications even to try to get it to go away. Fluconazole would not touch it. It wouldn't.
hmm
It had zero effect on it. And so anyway, I ended up tearing it down, did a hydrogen peroxide bath on the rocks in between the tank move and all of that, set it back up. It was looking good for a couple of months, and then boom, all the algae was back again. So I completely tore the whole system down, sterilized the whole thing, started over with new rocks and everything, made the structure that you see behind me.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
that's
like a
great.
5 foot like bonsai type thing. I'd never done that before, so I wanted to give that
Can
a shot. And
Let me ask you real quick. How did you, what did you use like Marcaroxy 400 or how'd you get that to cantilever over so far?
so let me step out of the way here.
He's got a big cantilever arch
Yeah,
that's only supported on one side. It goes from about a third of the way from one side of the tank, almost a third to the other side of the tank. It looks pretty cool.
yeah. This big rock right here at the bottom, like the base rock, it was probably the size of a basketball. It was huge. And I was lucky because one side of it was actually pretty flat. And so I went ahead and flattened it off a little bit more and used like an entire tube of silicone aquarium, silicone, and
Oh,
glued
okay.
it down to the bottom glass.
Ah,
And I let that cure for a couple of days. And then, yeah, thick CA glue with
hmm
Instaset, not
Okay.
gel, but the thick stuff.
hmm
And that started it. And then once everything was I started and just built out from the middle, of course, but I didn't do the whole thing all at once. It took me
Yeah.
about a week and a half to get it done. And so thick CA glue, let that cure, and then back that up the next day with the Marco 400. And
Oh,
then
okay.
I would let that all dry and cure for about 24 hours, and then I would build out one more rock length on each one of the arms, and
Yeah, that's smart. I like
just
it.
went
And
with
it looks
that.
really
Just went
good.
with that, and actually, it's really hard to see, but up here at the top those rocks actually touch and are glued to the overflow.
Oh, okay. For
So
some support.
there's a little bit of extra support in the back of that biggest arm that comes off there. But I'm pretty proud of it. I like the way that it came out. I think it's a cool looking scape.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
I
great.
can't ever take it out of the tank though.
you need a
So
hammer.
without tearing stuff up, yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be difficult if I ever have to remove those rocks. But
You're committed.
absolutely,
Don't think about that.
Would you like an animal in the room?
Oh God.
Champion lighting and supply. Logan, get all
yeah,
nasally.
I can't do that one.
Champion. You can't champion lighting and supply. Todd loves it. I saw him at Boston and he was just rolled his eyes every time I did that. But we love them as well. And I use them a ton for my dry goods. They have a wholesale account. So if you're a store or a maintenance company, you can open up a wholesale account with them. And they also have all the things.
Yeah, and Todd's like the reefer's reefer. He knows everything. And even more germane to our show is the only place that you can purchase what is this called again?
Reef SIBO, my
Reef
Reef
man.
SIBO.
SIBO. I'm sorry. I've got the new products on my head now. I keep forgetting this one.
Yeah.
Reef SIBO, the only place you can actually buy it, because I suck at sending things out, is at Champion Lighting and Supply. So Christmas is coming up. So buy our stupid product that does nothing. I mean, that does everything.
Yes.
Everything. Yet nothing.
All the things again.
Yeah.
Yeah. And where is this?
Where is it, Logan?
Champion. I did it.
You did it.
I didn't think it would go that high.
There we go. Check them out.
Would you like an animal in the room?
So if you've been listening to the show before, more than once, you will see why Logan's approach has made us go, Logan, you should be on this show. And it's not just that, but before we get into that, so Logan, tell us, not the long version, but tell us your history and how you started Reef Rookies and why.
Okay. So the short version, I guess it starts, well, a little bit about me. I graduated high school 2001 and immediately joined the military. My first day of Army basic training was the 9/11. That happened on my first day. It was not a good day. So 5 years military, 10 years retail management after that, decided to go back to school and did so, spent 6 years trying to decide what I was going to be when I grew up, and got a bachelor's of science in general studies with a concentration in all of the sciences, because I went for marine bio and then microbio and then biochem, and then I just kept flip-flopping between a bunch. And after 6 years, I was just done. I told the counselor, tell me what I'm closest to, and so I can finish up in one more semester and just be finished.
It's like you were trying to figure out how to get out of IKEA.
Yeah, except the line was zigzag like this, and the exit wasn't where the exit was supposed to be. But so yeah, and then joined the fire service after all of that. Spent 7 years in the fire department. Ended up hurt, and while I was off on leave, hurt from the fire department, that's when Reef Rookies got started. I've been keeping aquariums since I was like 5 years old. It's like 35 years at this point. But saltwater about 25-ish years, somewhere in there. And
you decided to start Reef Rookies.
What happened was, the way that it happened was, I was just in the hobby and I was on the Facebook groups and I was hurt from work. I screwed my back up really bad. And so I couldn't do anything. So I was on the phone, I was on the computer all day long, and I'm in the groups and I'm just helping people. I'm typing these books out to try to help people all the time.
Yeah.
And there's a guy on the group who is now my lead moderator, Eric, for my Facebook group. And he had posted a simple question. It's a very easy thing to be answered, but people were just dragging him through the mud,
That's what happens.
And yeah, as it happens on all of these groups, and I just messaged him and I was like, hey man, shoot me a DM. We can talk this through and get you on the right path. So he did. Couple days, we talked back and forth, got his tank looking, going back in the right direction and stuff. And my wife was like, you should do this. Like, you should make your own thing and just teach people about saltwater aquariums in a nice, respectful way. And that was how Reef Rookies got started. I made the Facebook group. As I mentioned a minute ago, I've been a content creator for 10 years, or roughly about that much time. It started out as Minecraft on YouTube, which that has a funny story all on its own. But yeah, it started out that way, and then so I already had all the how to make a video and how to do SEO and all that stuff. So it just I started it. A few people started joining, and I streamed on TikTok for hours on end, just helping people, just answering their questions.
Like live streaming?
Live streaming, yeah, for 6-8 hours at a time, and people would be like, hey, my phosphates are super high. What do I do? So we would spend some time answering that question and then move to the next one. And that kicked it off and got the ball rolling. And
Excellent.
So YouTube it's all going. All of my spaces, they're all growing because people want to learn about the hobby, but they don't want to be treated like shit while they do it.
Right.
So
right.
Hence the shirt.
But you've also, I'm going to interrupt you because I don't want to lose it. You also, and so the guy who's now your main moderator.
Yep. Eric
came with you right from that discussion, or?
Yeah, he did pretty much. We basically just became friends almost immediately. And sorry, there's some background noise. This is not a noise canceling headset. But yeah, we became friends almost immediately. We talk literally every day now. And he was the first member of my group. and it just built out from there,
It's great.
So it's been a crazy time watching it go as quickly as it has.
Yeah. You were
You
going to
know,
say, Ben? I'm sorry about that.
anytime you get a big group of people together, especially online, it's like the bad parts of humanity come out. Like, are you
Mhm.
doing anything different, or like how are y'all approaching like keeping the garbage out?
So, and it's a hard line to walk sometimes, but basically and mostly it's in my Facebook group. People really don't come in my YouTube comments being all crazy, but for the Facebook group specifically, we have a zero tolerance policy for somebody being a dickhead to another person.
Yeah.
Whether it's a beginner or not a beginner, they get into a heated conversation or whatever, and the personal insults start or whatever happens in that situation, the group rules are the warning. You've already read them, you join the group, you've agreed to it. So if that pops off, you get banned immediately. It's,
Mhm.
sometimes there has to be some discretion because sometimes people can read things the wrong way, or whatever. But if somebody's just being an outright jerk, they're gone,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and my moderators, I've talked to all of them one on one. Right now, we're running with like 6 moderators who are, we'll have one guy from Australia who's in there, so he catches it on the flip side.
Oh, cool.
And it's just we don't tolerate it. Period. If you want to be helpful in the group, there's a way to do that respectfully. And even if people need some constructive criticism, there's a way to say those things without being an asshole, you
Yep.
Hmm.
know? And
Yep.
that is group rule number one, regardless of anything else that's discussed in the group, do it respectfully, and if you're not, you're gone. And I've had to remove my friends. There's a lot of local people around me here because we have a huge reef keeping community here where I live. And the, many of them have been banned because there's just this attitude that they can talk to other people any way that they want to, and it just doesn't fly in my space.
And I
See, I,
guess, sir, I can imagine like they'll reach out like, "Oh, Logan, come on," in your
Hmm.
DMs, and you're like, "Dude, I may consider letting you back on, but just there's ways to go about this than what you did."
Yeah, it happens all the time, and there's been a couple that I have reverted because hey man, I didn't mean that to come off that way. This is how I meant it,
Just
things,
don't be a dick.
yeah, so there's been one or two that I have had a lengthy conversation with and really felt like they didn't mean to be that way because sometimes, emotions
stuff
lost in
happens.
text. Yeah,
Yeah.
but other things too that people have really they're thankful that we're doing is there's very little like vendor posting stuff like
Hmm.
that. There are a few, especially brand partners of mine. I'm working with a few companies, but just and
Shill.
Yeah. No, but I
no
guess that's the funny thing because like, some places would be like they would want to bring in like ad revenue because then they're like, "Oh, I can make money from this." But then if they
mhm.
like crap out the public's experience with the forum, like so you can make dollars, that's the gross part.
Absolutely. And and I'm doing this full time now, so the appeal is there for me to go to company X and be like, "Hey, I'll make a post in my group every third day if you pay me so much money a month just to push your product."
Sure.
As an influencer, which I am,
Yep.
that appeal is there, but I
Yeah.
don't want to bring that to the group,
But
Now,
you're doing so I think you've got the right sauce that I like the idea that you started doing the live streams because I always wanted to do
mm,
car talk for aquariums, which it sounds like what you did, a call-in show where you sit there and you just talk with people about their
that's
aquarium.
pretty much exactly what
It's
it
great.
was. Yeah.
So much work, so much time. All these
Oh
things,
God,
so much
so
work, so much
much.
time. That's what people don't get that about this space, right? Is that I
Hmm.
mean, the reason Reef Beef is us talking and that's it, and whatever else Snowman wants to edit is because it all of this takes time and work. Just the videos
Absolutely.
alone take time and work. Doing a live stream, you got to prep for the live stream, and then you got to
Hmm.
be on the live stream, and then you got to recover from the live stream, and then you got to go through the live stream and see if there's anything you want to pull. So it's all great stuff, but it's not stuff you could do. It's not a good side hustle, in my opinion, if you try
No,
to scale it.
anybody who's thinking about getting into content creation as a side hustle to make money, just don't. Because the only way that you're going to scale it is if you go beyond full time,
Right.
with the group and YouTube, which I'm not really active too much on TikTok anymore because my social media coach, the guy who's helping me make this into a career, he was like, you need to pick one because I was
Right.
stretched out so thin between all of them, the quality of all of them degraded. So, I picked YouTube and ran with that. But yeah, the time and you said the recovery. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, man. I challenge anyone to go stream for 8 hours and tell me how you feel the next day.
Oh,
I
It-
challenge anybody to record the show with Ben, and
yeah.
That's
Just to be in my shining
equivalent
present.
amount of recovery time
Yeah.
needed. Huh?
Yes. Ben recovery.
I think a couple other things that you're doing that I think make the difference. Well, first of all, you're involved and you're always involved. Number one.
Yeah.
Number two, you have knowledge. And, it's funny because we're not even going into that just because I've been hanging out at Reef Rookies for a while going, oh, and we've chatted a few times.
It's
like,
funny
oh,
too. When you joined, I was sitting I remember it. I was sitting on
no.
my couch with my wife and I'm like scrolling through my phone and I saw your name pop up and I was like, you won't believe who just joined the group.
Oh,
And she didn't know who you were, but I was like,
well,
this
she
is a
will.
pretty big deal, But then you were quiet for like a month and a half or 2 months. You didn't say anything. So I was like,
Yeah.
oh no, this is
Well,
not
I
good.
don't know. I'm sorry about that.
Nah, it's
And
not good.
I always have this fascination with beginners
Mhm,
because I'm not great at helping beginners. I'm great at helping beginners who have already done some of their homework. I
mhm.
get too frustrated by, what's this coral, or where do I put this pump, or, just the basic questions that it's not even the questions. It's that, man, we spend enough time yelling into the void. I want
Mhm.
the person I'm talking to on the other side and helping to actually be involved, invested in some way. And I find
Yeah.
in the big forums and the big groups where they're trying to, is that they so many people and you have to wade through so much of, if somebody asks a question and you go, if you're like me, which I think you probably are, you go, I'm pretty sure I better double check that. And you go and you double check your answer. And then you go back and then you write
Mhm.
2 or 3 paragraphs. And then that person goes, oh, I just threw it all away anyway, or something like that. Right. And you just go, so for me, it gets hard because
Yeah, it's
but
difficult sometimes.
but if you're invested, I'm all in. I'll talk to you for 1,000 hours. Right.
Right.
What you're doing is, first of all, you've got the information and you are in your community, you are the giver of information. That's why I was quiet for so long. It's like, what is going on? What's Logan doing? I want to know what newbies are doing and how they're doing it. And this is a different place than other kind of new groups I've seen. And so the buck stops with you. The final word stops with you. There's no vague committees anybody needs to go to. You say what you think, and you have your main rule, which seems to be a little bit twofold, which is don't be a dick and
Mhm.
stay on topic.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
all of a sudden, so many of the people want a community, but what happens to these communities is then they try to be a community for everything instead of a community, and then it just poisons all over the place, right? Or it can. But because you've set yourself up as the benevolent dictator, and you actually, that's the best way to run any organization, in my opinion. If you want to be fulfilled and be successful, if you just want to be successful, don't care. You can totally run roughshod over everyone. But it's also no, we're not taking the time to have these public discussions about why what you wrote sucked and why we don't want you here. You figure that out. We're not here to teach you how to be a person. We're here to talk about reef keeping.
Absolutely.
So I've now just long-windedly gone over how great I think you are, because I think you're doing it. I think you're doing it right. and you've even got your moderators online. You've got other people who jump in and go, who say a little bit, but when it goes bad, you just disappear it and it's gone. It's like, we're not going to talk about that. No one
Yeah,
cares.
no, there's no reason to then go into a 47 comment thread, where everybody's trying to justify their tone or whatever.
Yeah,
You
this
know
is the
if you were being
mistake.
a jerk,
This is the mistake I made for so long, which was thinking that with just some explanation and some good discussion, you know what I mean, Ben? You just kind of think, oh, I could, if we could just talk about this, people are going to understand, what's going on. And it's like there's so many people in the hobby, even though it's a big, small hobby, just go, no, go away. I don't, why am I talking to you? So I think it's great.
yeah, there's a certain amount of, how do I want to say this? I just don't have time for it,
Right.
you know?
And you shouldn't. I'm sorry. I should have let you talk. You're the guest.
No, that's fine. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but it
Mhm.
goes back to what you were saying a minute ago, and we're really not talking about reef keeping right now, but
Right.
it's with the content, I'm putting in anywhere from 100 to 130 hours a week doing what I'm doing. And a lot of that, look, let me I
Yeah.
bet right now, if I pull this thing up, my messages are just off the rails. Well, it's not as bad as I thought, but usually, I wake up in the morning, I have a cup of coffee, and I spend about an hour answering DMs and going through the stuff on the group. I do not have 3 hours out of my day to go back and forth with somebody about why their tone sucks. You know,
Right. But
it,
that's
it
also, yeah. But also, are you a tone suck counselor? No, you're there. That's just people talking. That's not the
yeah.
point of the whole thing. My God, when I think back to like the problems in clubs and and the hours and days spent trying to deal with bad actors, um, and the effort,
Oh
it's
man,
just so not worth it.
we had a we had a club here 20 or so years ago, and they're still active. It was called LARC,
Yeah,
Louisiana Reef Club.
they're in Slidell, right?
It it the I
Oh,
actually
who
don't
cares?
know where the people were, but yeah, it was a local group. It was kind of all of the sort of Gulf Coast region.
Yeah,
But some years back there was a bunch of drama and some junk happened, and then they split off, and there's two. There's that one, and then Bayou Reef Keeping, and that's what the result was of that situation that you were just talking about. The vitriol got started, people started splitting away from each other,
I'm
yeah.
just, I'm just laughing because this is religion.
Well, this is also how Bay Area Reefers got started. Was the guy who was running the version of the club that existed beforehand would not work with anybody else and was only doing what he wanted and was that's all I'll say. And so we said, well, we can't, but I guess we went, well, we can't deal with you. We'll start a new club. But it was later on where we were trying to avoid the problems that had happened and that we had seen before that we spent all the time, and you see it on Humblefish, maybe it's me, maybe I'm the problem. Because I like to pick at little things and I like to understand, but I also expect I expect when people don't want to pick at things, meta stuff, and dig into their understanding, either that they stop talking to me or that they go away. When they get mad at me for asking minutia questions is when I go, I don't, what did I do wrong? We're just talking. I didn't call you a dick, but there's no way to have those conversations without some of that happening. So
Yeah.
Logan, I think you're wise. I think that's the smart way.
I appreciate it. It's definitely a space where, I mean, I get thanked almost on the daily, with people coming in, they're like, this is the nicest place. The people here are helpful. And listen, it's not the end all be all of correct information. There's still
Yeah.
a lot of things in there that could be discussed and clarified and whatnot. But for people to have such a negative experience in all of the other spaces, that my space is so much of a release for them to just be able to ask that question without having to worry, are they going to get drugged? You know,
And I even find
drugged,
drugged is a good word. You're from Louisiana. Um, the even the tone of the people who are there is different. So
yeah,
when I answer a question on some other forum, if I don't, maybe this is my spectrum stuff coming in, and maybe just the whole world is like this and I don't understand it. But I will, in other forums, I have to mask and I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense. Why do I have to write, hello, I hope your day is going well? And then I have to say, your questions are like, I have to like massage them so they'll be able to hear what I say. If I just say, it seems to me you're using too much DKH juice.
Yeah, thingy.
They get mad at me for that. So we've got to like pretend like we're good friends and I respect everything and we're, but it's just like, dude, no, you asked the question. I'm just trying to give you the answer, my version of the answer. And what I'm seeing on your group is that people just, and I've been doing it. It's like, no, this is my answer. I'm not, I'm not trying to convince the OP of anything. The OP asked a question. I'm just trying to answer the OP's question. And then I would put something on like, if I've missed this, if we're in the wrong direction, let me know. If you want me to go on, instead of writing a whole freaking book, just here's the answer. And I'm not getting drugged for that, which is what happens in other forums. But everyone knows that we're here for the information. We're here to be nice to each other, but we're not stroking everybody because that's not what this is about. You want your information.
Would you like an animal in the room?
PolypLab, PolypLab. Logan, beatbox. I'm not gonna make you do that.
Do not beatbox.
PolypLab. You know what? Okay, so if you have polyps and you're in need of a lab, I mean, this is the place. They've
got you covered.
They've got it.
Yep.
What's this, Ben?
Those are Genesis blocks, and you know what? I have a love affair with those things. I put them in every sump that I have, and when I pick up a new client, I move those over just because I know that my tanks are well taken care of. And I move those around to different tanks, and I love it.
Yeah. Ben and Logan, where would you get products from PolypLab?
It's crazy. Our other two sponsors, PolypLab. Thank you, PolypLab. We are powered by you.
Would you like an animal in the room?
Logan, do you only talk about reef tanks, or is it freshwater tanks? Is it?
We do have people who are interested in freshwater. There is a freshwater chat that is attached. Well, that's all got complicated now because Facebook got rid of community chats and now it's all through Messenger and it's terrible.
It's awful.
But we do have a freshwater space and we do have quite a few people who are doing freshwater tanks, but that is not really a topic that's brought into the main group. We want to keep it to reef keeping because very quickly advice for freshwater and saltwater can get conflagrated. Is that the word? Yeah. Conflagrated?
It is now.
Yeah, sure. That's 6 years of college. I should know that.
Yeah,
but
I'm not. I talk with someone from Texas, so I'm not correcting pronunciation.
Yeah,
it's deconflactorated.
But so we do have a freshwater sort of mindset. There's some people there that have that, but it's not the main focus.
No, I was just wondering because it said you have 70,000 followers, and I don't know because it's hard to get this information, but I just feel in my bones that there's not 70,000 people out there that think they're saltwater aquarists. I could be wrong.
Oh, there's more.
You think more?
What does Logan think?
I think most people are both. There's a lot of people who come in freshwater or coming to saltwater from the freshwater world. I mean, there's so many posts in my group. It's almost every day at this point. Like, hey, I've been doing freshwater for 20 years. Want to get into the saltwater XYZ thing, but that number I think is a little bit flashy. The 70,000 followers. A lot of that is overlap. So I have probably half or more of my TikTok followers are also YouTube subscribers. So when you add it all together, I think that number's probably wrong. But
And then 20,000 Russian bots.
No.
oh, God.
No,
Yeah.
your game is you have 70,000 followers. I love it.
Yeah.
You don't have half of that. You're a big community, but you handle it. That's the, I mean, and you have somebody who, you have a social media person who helps you make, figure things out. You have the staff who's doing
Negative.
moderating and stuff, right?
Well, I do have, I've got 6 people who I'm fairly closely, friends with, all of them now, who are the moderators on my Facebook group. But other than that, I have no one else helping me. I do
Oh,
all my own editing and everything.
Right. But you've got a social media coach or something like that. You said
Oh,
before.
that's not social media. That's for YouTube.
Okay. Great,
yeah.
great. Even better. See, I think so when you say, you got a bunch of freshwater people on, the first thing I'm sure everyone says is, well, do a freshwater version of Reef Rookies. And it's like, I'm sure you've thought of it. And I'm sure you've thought of, you have to find the right person to do it. And then, yes, it would be awesome. And you could do it for reptiles, and you could do it for insects, and you could do it for Nepenthes. God, you could do it for everything.
Man, and listen, I have a lot of hobby stuff, been in a lot of Facebook group spaces and stuff over the years, but it's especially Mustangs, cars.
Oh, that's the worst.
Mustang groups are terrible. The worst, period, group of people that I have ever encountered on Facebook are beta fish people.
No way.
Absolutely. But it's the split. It's because in that group there are the people who are vehemently beta fish don't belong in a bowl on your kitchen counter. They need a proper tank, proper setup, proper whatever.
Right.
And the other half are the people who are like, well, he's been in the bowl for 2 years. He seems fine.
Right.
And those, it's a war in the beta fish groups. But
Right.
But no, I've never really considered doing a freshwater kind of situation like I'm doing with Reef Rookies, primarily because I'm not as knowledgeable in freshwater.
Yeah. Well, maybe one day, you'll rule the world and be the media king.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's obvious in looking at your groups and your content that you're doing it in a way that's useful instead of doing it in a way that is maximizing your likes. And everyone's afraid to say, screw you, you're out, because then they know that person is going to go somewhere else and go, Rich told
me.
And it's
they
like,
could drag others with them.
Yeah,
well.
but you know what? It's
they don't belong there.
You got no time for that.
I mean, we've been through that on our own Discord.
Yeah, and we just get rid of a couple people, and I spent, I was like, hey, I don't know what's going on, but if you want to talk about it, I'll talk about it, but you're banned.
Yeah.
Just what do I don't want to fight with people publicly anymore. I want to do it in private where I pay for it.
Yeah. I don't want to fight at all with anyone.
Even better.
In any space.
Yeah.
If we jive together and we get along, that's amazing. If we don't, I don't hate you for it, but it's just we're not compatible with each other.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's such a great way to look at it. That's so hard for me and for a lot of people, I think, to do. It's like, no, this is not personal. I don't even know who you are. You just said stuff that came across really badly, and I don't want to deal with it. So,
well, and most of the time it's you should have done your research crew.
Oh, that's rude.
And it's so rude because people forget that sometimes a person's only fish store is Petco.
Right.
So they go and they talk to the person there who's supposed to be a knowledgeable person, and that person says XYZ thing, whether or not it's true or factual or whatnot. And then they come home and something goes wrong and they jump on the group, and the first answer they get is, well, you should have done your research. And they're like, well, I talked to a professional at the fish store, but so that statement is my most hated statement in all of reef keeping is you should have done your research. I don't think, well, let me not say that. Sometimes we make stupid decisions and impulse purchases. But most of the time, people who are buying fish, they're buying corals, they're buying animals, they do care about the health and welfare of the animal. And it's just that they got some bad information from somewhere.
Right.
And there's so much bad information out there everywhere.
So much
But yeah,
better.
you get the post where someone has like a yellow tang and it's covered in ick, and they're like, "What is this? What do I do?" And then people are like, "You should have done your research." And I get
Yeah.
it on all sides, but I think I would stop and think if yeah, true, the person needs to learn, but if they're at least concerned enough to post it up and seeking information, then I guess that should be respected.
Well, look,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And things happen. Sometimes we buy fish and they look good at the fish store. I mean, one of my fish stores runs copper in their systems, and they try not to introduce fish into the same system, which is really hard for a fish store. But,
Hmm.
and then we get the fish home and 2 days later, bang, they're completely infected and now you're struggling trying to figure it out. Until it happens to you, you don't know to research it you
Yeah.
know, unless you're active enough in the space that you see it happening to other people, and then you're like, oh, well, maybe I should go ahead and get prepared for that.
We
But
forget two important things. We forget that you don't know something till you know it,
hmm
right? I mean, how could you, why would you know?
right,
Why would you know that you shouldn't top off with salt water until you know,
that one
right?
hit me early on in the beginning. I'm like,
Absolutely.
it didn't make any sense. I'm like, the water's going down. Why wouldn't I use salt water to put it back? Of course,
Yeah.
now I know why. But then that was a question that I posted on a group.
Yeah. So there's that kind of thing. And then there's it's a hobby.
Yeah,
It by definition, it's something you do in your spare time for fun.
right.
It is not a career. It is, we get a little caught up in the science aspect of it and the community aspect of it and the I want people to learn from my mistakes aspect of it.
hmm
But there's no way. We
No, it's impossible. It's too complex of a hobby for people to just learn everything.
Right. And this is
You
why
know?
you get experienced people running away from forums and groups because,
hmm
well, they may not run away from your group. I think experienced people mostly run away from groups because of the thing I was talking about before, getting involved in a conversation that's got no fruit at the end of it.
That literally happened to me this morning over coffee. I was in one of the groups, and I'm definitely not going to say this person's name, but uh, I was answering a question. No, those are creepy, man.
Richard has little hands on his fingers, and it's
No.
not disturbing at all.
Well, that's one opinion.
Mhm.
No, those are funny. But yeah, I was talking to this person, and their pH was very low. They were telling me that their pH was 7, which
Ready for discus.
in salt water, that's nearly impossible. So
Right.
I'm asking qualifying questions, trying to get the whole picture here to
And
figure
actually
out.
possibly improbable.
Yeah, right, exactly. So I'm asking these questions, and at the end of the entire conversation, it was the end result of all of this conversation was, I just want to find something I can put in the water to fix the pH.
Oh, you know what? I saw this person post yesterday.
Mm.
Is this the same? Somebody posted the pH thing, and I went, I can't deal with this. Oh, Logan will. Yay!
It wasn't in my group, so if unless you
Oh,
were
okay.
in one of the other groups, I think I know what you were talking about, but that's a different person. But
Gotcha. Okay.
but
Different
yeah,
group.
my point in saying all that though was it was like the fruit at the end was just tell me what product I can dump in that'll fix this. And I'm like, there's more nuance than that.
Mhm.
And there's a crossroads there between the people who take this hobby very seriously and the people who just want a pretty fish tank.
Right.
And that's where it gets really hard because a lot of the answers that you have to give to people, you have to ask all those qualifying questions first. You got to get the history of the tank, at least for the last few weeks, and sometimes people don't want to give that. They don't have enough time, like we were talking about earlier, to type out a book of what's been
Yeah,
going on with
this
their
is my
tank. And
fucking hobby. If I want to learn something
right.
about soccer, I just, go get another soccer ball and try that. It's not,
Yeah.
we mean,
And I
what do
mean, and this is attached to the ego but some people that have been doing it for a long time, even for a living, and it doesn't mean they're always right. I know tons of people that are in that scenario that are dumb shits, okay? But with a shit ton of experience, and you jump on there trying to help someone, and then you type a long thing, and a bunch of people like, that's bullshit. And it's like, again, though, it's tied to the ego because it could possibly be bullshit. Now, like before we jumped on, I looked at the Facebook page for a little bit, and there was a thing of, I've got aptasia, what do I do? So I was perusing through the answers, and for me personally, I was like, I started to have like heart palpitations because like I don't mess with forums. Like I love to help people, but I have found that my comfort level is when we're one-on-one and I'm just talking to you, consulting. And so then, hey, let's examine that, because you could say like, what's wrong, Ben? You have a fragile ego. And I think about that, and it's like I've been doing it long enough, like I know the answers to some things, because one person on that thread that I saw on your page was like, oh, the only thing that works 100% is aptasia eating filefish. And I'm just thinking like, I don't even want to comment in there when stuff's being said, but then I have to take it to myself, and it's like just like karate, like people have different belts.
But yeah. But what I found on Logan's page is what did that person post about the filefish?
It was just an original guy saying, "Hey, I have aptasia. What is here?"
No. What did the response? Just the response. I just want to make sure I get the words right.
Oh, it's just saying, "Oh, the only 100% way to deal with those is a Mahano eating filefish." And I'm like, "That's not true."
This is how I would respond to this on Logan's page and feel perfectly fine about it. I believe this to be untrue. That's it. Nothing else.
Well, what if that starts like a flame war?
I'm not trying to engage with that person. I'm not trying to justify my position. I'm not trying to get in any kind of thing. I'm just putting a piece of information out there that might help the original poster.
Yeah.
That's my feeling about it. And then I've tickled this isn't right, but I've also avoided the fight that I don't even want to have in the first place.
Well, and the silly rebuttal is if it's someone who has maturity problems or whatever, and they will go, "That's not true, you fucking idiot," and then it starts a whole flame war.
That person gets banned immediately.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That was a perfect example of what would get you banned immediately from my group. Yeah.
No one needs that.
No, but and I don't have time to correct every inaccuracy that I see in the group. I mean, there's 17,000 people in there now. The average daily active user count is 2,000 members. Woo. Which is awesome. And
drink more coffee.
Yeah, but you're really there to answer the questions asked in the OP. You're not there to police everybody else's opinions and thoughts.
And I've had people come to me and they're like, "Hey man, you really need to do a better job of clearing out the wrong answers." And I'm like, listen, that is where conversation happens. Yeah. If those people want to engage in conversation and get to the end of that, that's between them.
So healthy.
I'm trying to provide the space and police the space, not the person.
You let them have their own conversations to get to where they need to get. But it also works because you are the big daddy of the forum, right? So a lot of times it's like no. It's like me and Ben in our Discord. It's like no. If we say that this is how it is, that's how it is. It's a benevolent dictatorship. There's no, here is the authority. It is Logan. If we ask a question in this group and Logan says it, that's the answer we should go with because it's from Logan. We can talk about it. We can ask Logan questions about it. We can present different cases. We can be kind about it. But Logan is the last word in this forum. Yeah. And that's how it should be. Whether if there's anything I disagree with you about anything, who cares? I don't know if there is. But we would, and I wanted to, and at that level, I wanted to talk to you about it. I would just talk to you about it. There's no reason to get in any kind of minutia or, how Logan runs his place but anyway, I don't care about all that. I think it's good. And I think it's desperately needed. And I think I'm so glad you got hurt.
Well,
what he's trying to say, Logan, is
Yeah.
which is a
It's
terrible thing to say, but
Are you better?
no, I am much better than I was. I've had two back surgeries. The last one was a fusion, and there's been a dramatic increase in quality of life from
Yeah.
all of that. Because
yeah.
before it was very bad.
Yeah.
I couldn't wash dishes, couldn't cook,
Oh,
nothing like,
Can't do a lot with a messed up spine.
no, it was excruciatingly painful. It's the most painful thing I've ever been through in my life. And
Ugh.
dealing with work comp, which is a topic for a whole other
Yeah.
podcast, it stretched out over 4 years almost.
oh, jeez.
Ugh.
But yes, to short answer to the question, I am much better now. I'm back to doing the things that I enjoy doing within reason. You know, and reefing is one of those things.
That's great.
It's
And you've
one of
got
the
your income stream that you make sense and you know what it is. I think it's great. And everyone seems to be learning stuff. I mean, it feels to me like it just feels like I mean, I haven't finished a sentence in about an hour, but I mean, I'm still browsing it.
Mhm.
It's still coming across my feed, and
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it. I
That makes me very happy.
I like seeing that there's people out there who will help people who want to be helped in a way that is supportive and respectful and not dismissive and not, dogmatic.
Mhm.
It's just desperately needed. And I'm so glad you're doing it. Because I had lost all hope on it, really, of it happening.
Yeah, I got so sick of seeing the atmosphere in the other spaces that I decided to do something about it, And I recently, I don't know if you saw my video or whatever, but I went up to Polo Reef. That
Yeah,
was
yeah.
freaking amazing. My
Fun place,
goodness.
huh?
Yeah. Oh, I could hang out there for a
Yeah.
very long time.
Yeah.
But
Well, maybe
but he
maybe
said
before Reef Retreat,
yeah, that
if you have time.
maybe that would be cool. I'm super
Are you
excited
coming
about
to
Reef
Reef
Retreat.
Retreat?
Yeah, I'm coming, yeah.
Dude, nice.
Yeah, me
I'll-
and my wife is coming too, which is really kind of funny because she really enjoys the tanks and stuff. She doesn't get into the nitty-gritty of it and all that,
yeah.
but she's an analytical person and she's very excited about coming and hearing the
Oh, cool.
presentations and stuff at Reef
Sweet.
Retreat too. Yeah.
Y-
But
Oh, geez.
Andrew, I live streamed with him while we were up there, and he kind of said the same thing. He's, that there needed to be someone in the space who was bringing the beginners in. I mean, if we don't successfully get people into the hobby to a point where they can stay in, the hobby's going to eventually die,
Yeah.
and
You
I don't want
definitely
to
could
see
try.
that happen.
It's
It's bad enough that it's expensive, but if it's like difficult to get from point A to point B and the whole community isn't very, helping that at all, it's just like, wow, this is expensive. Everyone's an asshole, and I'm out.
Yeah, where's the fun in that?
Yeah.
Screw this. I'll go back to my beta fish.
Yeah.
Yeah. And all hobbies are like this, by the way.
100%.
I was looking
100%.
at pitcher plant stuff and it was like, oh God, everything is just as bad. I tend to
You're
forget
not
that
doing
everything
it
is
right.
stupid.
Yeah.
Well, just the conflicting information and, this will kill you. If you overwater, it'll kill you. If you don't overwater it, it'll kill it. It's all the same. And everyone is trying to side hustle it and make money at it, which I appreciate. But when the making money is you can make money as your goal, but then you as your main goal, but then you neglect other things. It's just that's how it has to happen. Because you don't have time for everything.
Right.
But you seem to be really set on, what you're doing because it's got to be an income stream, right?
Absolutely, it does, and I'm fortunate in a couple of ways that over the last few years I've been able to build several income streams. I'm a disabled veteran as well, so that plays
Right.
a huge role in that. And so the opportunity was presented to me to be able to start it, not needing to make money from day one. You know,
Right.
it
Right.
is now beginning to generate a little bit, but it's still so far in the negative by the time all my expenses for everything and running the tanks and all my running around and everything. But it's the income was never the initial
Right.
reason. I didn't look at this and go, hey, I think I can make a career out of being a saltwater influencer.
Man, I
It
don't know if this is true across the board, but it seems like those scenarios where the people are content creators and they have to make money from this, to me, that seems like the crappiest content.
it gets so convoluted so fast. Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. And I've been in the content creator space for a very long time, and you can tell um the people who are doing it for the love of the game and also making money on the end, and the people who are just doing it just for the paycheck. There's a stark difference between the types of content that they make.
Yeah, it's really funny because basically any income from reef beef. Oh, I know what I did before. I pressed a button by accident when I touched my
Don't
mouse.
push that button again.
No, I'm not going to do that again. But we've always looked at the income from reef beef as ability to have funds to do more in the space, in the hobby space.
Mhm.
It's not, the money, whatever money we get sits, and then we decide on projects to use it for. It's not
Well,
like
that's how Reef Retreat came to be, wasn't it?
that's exactly how Reef Retreat came to be. And no
Yeah.
one's making any money on Reef Retreat. I mean, it'd be nice if we make some money for Andy's lab, which
Right.
which we may a little bit, which is fine, but that's not, the council doesn't get paid. No one's getting paid.
Mhm.
After the third year, I think we've talked about, we'll discuss that. But yeah, it's just, oh, I'm in a position now. If Reef Retreat needed to make money, it never would have happened.
Right.
But
Same thing with Reef Rookies.
Yeah.
If it had to support me, even now it wouldn't be a thing, you know.
Right.
But I've
Right.
got an amazingly supportive wife who was nearly retired, and she decided she was going to go back to work, and,
Yeah.
and we're
There you go.
trying to make several of the shows next year, all of the wraps, Aquashella. I'm speaking at a show in North Carolina,
Nice.
a big reef show up there. I've been invited to speak there. I don't know the topic yet, but I can imagine it's going to be trying to draw beginners in and help talk about getting them started and stuff.
Yeah.
So we're way in the negative. Anyway, that's yeah, it's not making any money.
Well, then it seems to me you're on the path to be able to be solvent if you want it to be. And
Yeah.
I could see you. I could just see things you're doing where it's like, oh, that I think you can be fine if you decide that that's you need to up the income stream. Um, Otherwise, the content is great as it is, and I guess the only reason I want the income stream to go up is because I don't want you to be bored and bail.
Yeah.
You know
No,
what I
I
mean?
don't and
Which I would
me
respect too.
my personality is really weird. Like I'm undiagnosed, but something's definitely wrong, right?
Yeah.
I'll pick a hobby and I will
Logan, look who you're
go.
talking to.
Maybe that's why we get along. But I'll find something like 2 years ago, I decided I wanted to learn how to make mead.
Yeah.
And so I went hard and heavy. I
Yeah.
like bought everything you needed to get started. And I started and I made a couple of bottles there over there in the corner right now. I haven't touched it in 18 months.
You're
ADHD.
yeah.
Welcome
Yeah.
to the crowd.
Or
Yeah. So,
a UDHD,
hmm
which is
yeah,
probably
probably.
which is what I've yeah, anyway. But yes.
Yeah.
So we
Same
get
boat.
it.
Yeah. So for me to be able to stick with this as long as I have already is kind of it's been a good therapeutic thing for me
Yeah,
because
yeah. Oh,
every
great.
day I have somewhere that I need to be. With my back injury and I was just freaking idle, like I couldn't do anything. Work comp was watching me. It gave me a thing to do. And now
Right.
that this community has been built around it, I've made some friendships, and there's several people that I talk to on the daily about reefing and how's your tank going, and even my followers and my subscribers and stuff, they're messaging me going, "Hey man, just wanted to check on you. How are you doing?" So it's like it's really an awesome thing that has come about from all of this.
Fantastic.
Would you like an animal in the room?
Hey, beefers. Thank you so much for being beefers. We really dig it. The show was fun. Discord is fun. Seeing you guys in person is super fun. We can't wait to do it next year, either at Reef Retreat, probably at Reef Stock Denver. We'll be there too, I would imagine. And we may have something else coming up, but we'll let you know. But thank you so much for supporting us. Thank you so much for buying us beers. Thank you so much for being Prime and Gold level beefers, and for being members and for participating in the Discord. We dig it. Right, Ben's eyes?
True.
So thank you for the support. Like us and share us if you dig our show. Send us a note about what we should talk about. We'll be happy to talk about that on the show and stuff like that. Without you guys, without all you people, it'd be Ben and I alone, and we'd probably be divorced by now. So thank you, and thank you.
Would you like an animal in the room?
We haven't even talked about reefing that much at all.
Not really that much.
But that's kind of what the show, that's where I fall into getting weird about what we're doing. And I have to keep reminding ourselves that we have chosen to do an essentially niche show that is not going to have, I can't believe we'll ever have 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, but that's not even the metric we care about.
Because I know what he's saying. And it's like, sometimes maybe not everyone follows with it, but sometimes you talk about the things surrounding the hobby.
That's
I mean,
right.
what are we going to discuss pH again for the 1,000th time?
But we
Right.
can.
Can we not?
Well, yeah, we cannot, but you have to. The thing that I'm doing that we've started, that we're trying to kind of hit the beginner space, or the easy to absorb space, rather than the esoteric 40-minute discussion about the neurology of social media in reef tanks. Is 2 minutes of reefing. And I've got one. I'll just do the setting advice for setting up a new tank.
Wait, I got to do the jingle.
Is there a jingle? We have
There's
a
a jingle?
There's
There's always a jingle.
With
I
me,
forgot
there's
the
always
jingle.
a jingle. 2 minutes of reefing, 2 minutes of reefing. Here we go with 2 minutes of reefing.
So you want to start up a tank. You've never had a reef tank before. I don't care if you've had freshwater before, any kind of animals. You want a reef tank. The best thing I think you should do is start from scratch, which means you should get a small tank, 10, 15, 20 gallons, no bigger than that. You don't need it bigger than that. It's much easier to take care of and to deal with problems and to learn on. And the main thing I'm talking about is we want to get you learning. We want to make you see, is this a hobby that you're interested in? Is it a hobby that you want to continue with? Rather than just, I'm enamored of these beautiful animals. So you get yourself a small tank. You work for 6 months with animals that are captive bred and are hardy, and you learn all the stuff you need to learn. You get some rock that is already seeded. You throw that in your tank, whether that be from the wild or whether it be from somebody else's tank. You just want the bacteria on it. And the main thing about a small tank is you can fix all manner of learning sins by water changes. So if you've got a problem on a smaller tank, it's almost negligible cost to do a 50% or even an 80% water change every week if you need to. So I think that sets you up for your best. Simple starter system. Work on it for 6 months to a year to see if this is something you actually are interested in. If you set up something giant, you are overwhelmed and in big trouble if you don't have the time for it, or you lose interest in it. That's my 2 minutes of reefing on setting up a new tank and getting in the hobby.
2 minutes of reefing, 2 minutes of reefing. That has concluded 2 minutes of reefing.
And I'm sure we'll get all kinds of crap, right? But you didn't cover. No, it was a 2 minutes of reefing.
2 minutes of
Yeah.
reefing.
Yeah.
If
That
I
is-
can say my little thought on that is, man, when you do these little tanks and people like, should I put a skimmer on it? No, I don't think you should put a skimmer on it. You should either make your water at home or find a place. I much prefer you make it at home or find a store that mixes it, and just be doing frequent water changes, because skimming is something that doesn't lend itself to shrinking. It's, basically against the,
Yeah, it
sure,
doesn't
there's
work
some,
super well small scale.
no, it just doesn't. And it's not, the juice isn't worth the squeeze, and you get some little thing that's spitting salt creep all over the back of your tank. And it's like, just do like 2 to 3 water changes, small water changes in the course of a week,
Yeah.
and people make it more complicated than it needs to be. If you don't have the self-control to say, oh, I've got this 20-gallon little tiny tank, and it's like, oh, but I like, I like a Moorish idol. It's like, have the self-control and understanding to like, no, that's not for your tank.
I like lions and tigers too, but I don't have them.
Put them in your closet, Richard. Feed them Cheerios.
On the little skimmer though, on my little anemone tank, I put a little skimmer on because it's anemones and I had some death and it was bad. That skimmer is pulling out so much gooey water. It's on the little tank and it gets 100% water change every day.
What skimmer is it?
It was the Bullet 3 or the ripoff of the Bullet 3.
Huh.
I forget. But
Yeah,
so much so that I'm thinking because I bought the wrong size twice, so I have another skimmer. I want to put it. These tanks behind me get a pretty slow turnover.
Really slow.
Pretty slow. So I'm thinking maybe I'm going to put a skimmer on one of those and see, is that pulling out the gunk? Maybe local skimming is a thing that I need to take into account if I'm not going to have, a turnover of the system once an hour. Wow, that drug the conversation to a
maybe.
Boy.
We went totally technical there.
Yeah, and what I meant to do was say, hey, the 2 minutes of reefing, Logan, rip it apart. What don't you like? What do you like? What would people on your group say? And how would
Hano
I think
eating
probably
filefish.
Yeah. No, the only thing that I would say about that particular statement that you made in that little blurb right there is 10, 15 gallons is a little small.
Okay.
In my opinion, I
Okay.
always advise people to start with at least 20, 20 up to about 30, 35, 40 maybe.
Okay.
And only because, like that other guy used to say, I don't know if I can say people's names here.
You can say
But,
whatever you want.
Ryan, he used to say all the time, the solution to pollution is dilution. So things happen much less slowly in a 20 than does in a 10. So
Right.
it's not not doable, but I think just a little bit more volume has almost a logarithmic amount of time before bad things become a real big problem.
It's so interesting because I picked the 10 to 20 on purpose because anybody can do a water change on a 20 gallon, a half water
Absolutely.
change. When you get into like 40, now it's like, okay, now I need 5 jerry cans to fill up to go to the store.
That's definitely, yeah.
So
I see your point.
This is but this is the kind of small things where it's like, there is no friggin' answer to this.
No,
there is no answer to this.
No.
And that's why,
and that does play a role in it. And, I hadn't considered that aspect of it, like needing 4 more buckets instead of 2.
Right.
I was only thinking about it just from the tank itself standpoint.
Right.
But, but that's why conversation's important.
Right. So that's why
respectful discourse.
I like, what's the question? Okay, here's the question. Here's an answer. All right. And now we're going to talk esoteric bullshit for the next hour about details that you probably don't care about and shouldn't care about. And you certainly shouldn't care about angrily. But we'll talk back and forth between and we'll see what we think. And then I'll steal your good ideas and you'll steal my good ideas. And we go off into the world and everything's better.
And ultimately, the person that asked the question has to decide through all that, sifting through that information.
Right.
What were you going to say?
And sometimes it's difficult for a person to make that decision depending on how passionately the other commenters have presented their information,
Right.
I was going to say, and sometimes the two people with the two ideas discover that they have a similar idea, and then they come together on that idea and collaborate, which is something that's happened very recently with me twice. There's 2 products with 2 different people that are going to be coming out hopefully here in the next few months.
Oh, excellent.
That became partnerships from mutual conversation. So it's really awesome. I didn't ask you this before, and I'm not doing this as a plug, but there's a company that I'm working with. I don't know if you've seen my little 22 gallon, my Sea Cardinal.
Yes. Oh, is that the Timu tank?
No, that's not the Timu tank. So the Timu tank's a whole different
That's a whole
ordeal.
crazy
That doesn't have
world. I've
nothing to
tried
do
to
with
catch
me.
up on that yesterday. I went,
No.
no,
Sea
then maybe I
Cardinal,
haven't. I must have seen it because it sounds so familiar.
it is that one.
Yes.
It's got a
Oh,
couple
one of
little,
those floating like back. The
yeah,
back
it's
of
a
it.
floating aquascape. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a local guy to me who put that tank together. And it's an all-in-one kit that comes with many of the pieces that you need to get started in the hobby for one click, one purchase. Boom, and done. It's delivered to your house. You don't have to sift through and pick equipment and all of that crap. We have doubled down on that idea. And other people have done it before, but I think we're doing it a little bit better because earlier you were mentioning about that sort of barrier to entry. People need to get into the hobby, find out if they're going to like it, and they don't need to spend $5,000 to do that.
Exactly.
So we have put together a 50-gallon lagoon and a 35-gallon lagoon that is going to be a kit that comes with every piece of hard equipment that you need to start a reef tank except the sand, rocks, and test kits. It has all that stuff. And so it takes that decision paralysis away from getting a kit fairly inexpensively to be able for you to find out if you're even going to enjoy this freaking hobby.
Yeah. So you've got the Logan approved kit,
Yeah.
or the Logan branded kit, either way, and access to the Logan community to
100%.
ask Logan about the kit.
Yes.
You can do that. You should have success with that.
Yeah, I mean, you
Hopefully
could
so.
even have a thread on there, like you got one of these kits and you're confused about something. Let's dive into it right here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good
What
idea too, for sure.
What happens is people get a Red Sea tank that's supposed to come with everything, and then they had, or whatever, and then they got no one to talk to about it. Or, there was a group that was doing, like, they actually sent you the fish and the corals and stuff, which I thought was a great idea, but they didn't have the Logan style support. And people try to, it's really easy to sell a bunch of stuff or try to sell a bunch of stuff, but it's really hard to follow up with all that stuff that you sold and have those people still be involved and have you still making money on that stuff a couple years later. I think I think you're gonna be fine.
Hopefully we can pull it off because the other guy that owns Sea Cardinal, he's really good too about answering questions, and I think that his customer service mindset is where it needs to be. If there's a problem, he fixes the problem. And yeah, so there goes the fetus.
Oh, yeah, but see, and that's where scaling's tricky, because if I add more, this isn't being negative. I'm just saying you add more, like the more popular you get, and then you're drowning in it. It's like, man, I used to give good customer support, but I'm having a hard time scaling this. Those are just the growing pains. Richard, you
I
hate
think that
that
applies
fetus.
to pretty much every business. There's going to be those growing pains. I'm already seeing it with my stuff. Like I design and 3D print things for the reefing hobby. I try not to step on other people's toes and make and design things that other companies are doing. But, I've had people message me back and be like, hey, man, this thing doesn't fit for some reason. What's going on? So you have to make a tweak or you fix it or whatever. And you just move on.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I hope you get the help you need when it comes to so you're already working too many hours. You're going to have to bring somebody on. It's very hard. We found it hard to bring people on.
It's very hard.
It's a weird thing. Well, I'm in the process again of trying to find somebody because I want to do the part of this that I want to do. I don't want to do the bookkeeping, and I don't want to do there's a million things I don't want to do that need to get done.
Yeah, my wife, she asks me all the time. She's like, "What can I do to help you and take some of this off of your plate?" And I'm like, "Well, unless you want to learn 20 years of reef keeping, it's very difficult for me to find help with that, and especially to become a partner with someone who's going to be putting information out to beginners. We have to be on the same page,
right?
Because I don't want my answers, what I would say, to be conflicting with what they would say, especially if I was going to bring somebody else on. So
yeah,
I'm just going to for now, I'm going to keep rolling the way that I've been.
Yeah, I know you're rolling organically, and it's great. The idea of bringing I like that it's small and it's local, so you're not immediately going, oh god, we got to make 100,000 units, and it just feels like you're doing it all in a way that can make sense and scale enough to be worth doing, but not overwhelm you and crush your life like everyone's side hustles tend to do, if they
Yeah.
try to, and then you forget who you are, and that's not fun.
Yeah,
uh
no, that happened to me about 2 years ago with a different side hustle. Yeah, it just
yeah, just
became
burn it out.
so much. I mean, it just every day was, 15, 18 hours of recording plus editing.
It's too
It was
much.
just impossible. It was too
It's too
much.
much.
Yeah.
So, but the idea of offering a product with a recipe, with support for the recipe,
Yeah.
that's not shitty, in the sense of people aren't going to call you're stupid. You should know that.
hmm
I think that's, growing the hobby because, we've sold another tank is not what we need. So I'm thrilled.
No.
I can't.
We need to get the people, we need to get people in who have a passion for learning the hobby, not just having the pretty fish tank in the corner.
Right.
But and there's nothing wrong with that as
Right.
long as you can pay someone who has the passion to maintain the tank.
Yep.
It's if it, yeah, pay Ben to
Yeah.
come to your house and take care of it for you.
Ben and
There's a
only
couple of
Ben.
local guys that who are very good in this area that do that kind of thing too. But if you don't have that, then you have to find that passion for yourself, and you have to ask more than what can I dump in the water to make the pH better? You know?
I mean, that's why this hobby tends to have a bad turnover, because people
hmm
see a pretty thing and they go into a store because they're like, okay, look, I don't know anything and I'm just trying to get into this, see if this is something I want to do. And this is a terribly cynical take, but I spent like 10 years in 5 different stores, so I was there where the rubber meets the road. But you know, this fits together with Logan. I like that, you're helping beginners, because I've always told people, be careful about getting information from someone who has a vested interest in making money off of you, because while they may not lie to you or whatever, their guidance is going to be dictated by them making money or not. So some of that
Yeah.
advice isn't going to be that great sometimes. That's why I like the forum thing, if people can find their way to y'all, because it's like a community helping people. It's not like,
See,
oh, I want you to
yeah.
do this because it's going to make me a buck.
Yeah. Buy this product.
Yeah.
At the same time, by this one,
Yeah.
at the same time, you gotta make money. So I think this. I think I want to make sure we don't throw out the baby in the bathwater about, being ashamed of of asking money for your services, right?
Oh,
Well,
for sure.
and you know what I'm finding is given giving the right type of help to the right type of person, that person has no problem supporting you monetarily.
Right.
So there are things that people can do to help me out, and that's not me telling people where to do that. It's not the purpose of this podcast, but it's there. And somebody on my group, prime example, was having a very tough problem with their tank the other day. Their parameters were all out of whack. Everything was crazy. They were dosing like 5 or 6 different things to the tank to try to get it to come back around, and it just
Part of the
wouldn't.
problem.
Yeah, and turns out yes. But it just wouldn't. The ionic balance of the tank was all just out of whack. The alkalinity went from 10 to 7 in 24 hours.
Oh boy.
And it wasn't consumption. It was just off, But I spent a couple of hours going back and forth with this person, telling them what I think is going on, got the full history of the tank, all that. They made the changes, and they decided to compensate me for that. I didn't ask them to, but they did. And so in a roundabout way, the monetization is coming
Yeah.
on its own without me having to go, hey, well, if you buy this product, I don't have a sponsored spot in my videos for that reason.
Yeah. Well,
I sponsor my own videos.
I think it's good, and I think that the idea of we've been screwed by shitty people trying to take advantage of people, and
Yep. That's happening now. It's
it's
happening right now. Yeah.
It's always going to happen. Some
Mhm.
people suck. Some people didn't learn critical thinking enough and how to get along with others, and they think that growth is the only way, and growth and screwing other people are the way to get ahead.
Oh, you
Mhm.
know
You
what?
know?
You asked me the other day if there was anything that I had beef about, given the nature of the show and
Oh,
whatnot.
let's give.
Oh, get it.
Good.
Give
We'll
the
give your
beef.
beef, and then we'll be done because
Yeah.
we love this.
AI in
Oh,
reef
yeah.
keeping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's and listen, I think there's a right way to do it. And there is an app, it's a very good one, and they are using AI in their app to help people find problems and analyze parameters and things. But they are vetting the responses that the AI thing or whatever it is. I'm not even familiar with the terminology. They're vetting it because they are reef keepers. And they're not just hobbyists, they're professionals in the industry and in the space. But Chat GPT is getting on my nerves.
Ha!
And it's even gotten to the point now where, and listen, I use Chat GPT exclusively like a personal assistant. You know, remember this thing on such and such a day, send me an email reminder, whatever. But what I'm seeing now in the groups and even in my own space, which is this morning, it popped off in my group twice actually. But what I'm seeing now is people are using it to make posts that are divisive. And it's like, if you want to hear about this
What?
thing, this is the real story. And it's
Oh
a
God.
fucking Chat GPT thing about how you keep a reef tank,
Mm.
and it's just that alone is going to be a problem for the
Yeah.
hobby. I mean, there's a place for experimentation, and it was a pretty neat thing to see somebody recently who was already a hobbyist. They were pretty good in the hobby. Doing what they knew what they were talking about. They ran a tank for a while based on nothing but ChatGPT answers just to see what it would say and
Oh,
do.
that's really fun.
And yeah, and I need to go back and finish watching it because I never made it, never made to the conclusion or whatever. But what I'm seeing now is people are posting their parameters, and they're saying that I told ChatGPT all my numbers, and this is what it told me to do. And it's about 50-50.
Yeah.
Sometimes GPT is pretty close to what the person should be doing, but sometimes it's just out of left field, just off the wall because it wants to be helpful. It wants to make you find the right answer. But it has to dig through all of the shit posting that has gone on in all of the forums, in all of the groups, on all of the internet. So I would caution people
Fair enough.
on using that. But that's been driving me around the bend lately. Like I showed ChatGPT this picture of my phosphate test kit, and it said it was 5.3.
Oh
Like,
boy.
if your phosphates were at 5.3, we have a big problem.
And I'm neither advocating nor shitting on AI, but you also have to realize these. And I think the word you were looking for earlier was the model, like a large language model.
Yeah.
But it's like a model, and the people running it can query it and correct it a lot, and sort of, I guess
Yes.
they call it
Curate.
massaging the model, curate the
Mhm.
model. So
Yeah.
you can take out the bad and add the good, and over time, like, get it to spit out the information that you want it to spit out, because that's all, a large language model is just grabbing stuff off the internet, whether it's right or wrong, and spitting it at you. And if you don't know anything about the subject, you think that it's like Jesus Christ. But if you are an expert on what you're querying it about, you can be like, oh, that's wrong, this is wrong. And that's
Yeah.
the danger right there, is just thinking anything you ask Chat GPT, that it's an
That it's just
AGI and not
Does
just
that-
devoutly
AI.
correct.
Is that really different than any other reef keeping book we've looked at?
Yeah. No, I know, I get it.
That's a hell of a question, isn't it?
Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
remember reading reef keeping books and going, or articles and going, well, that's bullshit. On to the next thing. So
Well, and that's tricky because you put down information in a book and then crack it open 10 years later, and it's
Right.
like, oh, that's changed.
yeah, for sure. No
that's
doubt.
fascinating.
Yeah.
Fucking
But
fascinating.
that's the only gripe about things that
That's
I've
a good
had
beef.
as of late.
I'm going to add on to your beef because I noticed this yesterday and it made me legitimately angry at AI for the first time. I'd never been angry at it before, but I was
Oh, I
angry
have.
at it.
Yeah.
We like to watch cat videos. Don't judge me, you motherfuckers.
Oh, dude.
Uh, um, and in the cat videos now, there are AI stuff showing up.
Mm-hmm.
And now my cat videos are ruined. The whole point about cat videos is you get to go, oh, wow, look, that cat did that. Now you
Yeah.
can't trust if the cat did that or not.
No.
So,
You
man, I've been there
absolutely
for a
can't.
while, Richard.
Well, we
Just-
just got to more recent cat videos, I think, is what happened. We've been mining the old cat videos for a long time. And now we're, it's got like I don't even know what those things are called on the apps that put weird faces on things.
yeah.
Like, that's in the cat videos too, and I understand that. But the total AI cats, it's like,
that's making
why?
its way over into reef keeping too, because
sure.
people
Oh,
are
into
using
everything.
it to, yeah, well, true, everything, yeah, definitely, but I mean,
Including
people are.
war.
Oh, stop it.
I have no doubts. I have no doubts.
Stop
But
it. So yeah, it's what else? You were saying it's including more.
yeah, I'm seeing articles come out now that are being written by people I've never heard of, which I don't claim to know everyone in the hobby,
Yeah.
but it's they're bare bones generic articles about how to keep a reef tank with an AI picture at the top, and the fish in it is some amalgamation of a tang and a goldfish, and it's just AI slop.
Yeah.
And I don't want to see that ruin people's experience in the hobby.
Yeah.
And so I'm not vehemently against it yet, but I think there
I
has to
am.
be the right way of using it.
Yeah.
And that's to say nothing of the environmental impact.
Yeah. I think
Do you
Yeah.
think these are just ways for people are trying to, farm clicks?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's all about the ads that you can stack around the blog,
Yeah.
the
growth economy.
100%. So, but yeah, it's come up in the group. I don't know how I'm gonna handle it yet. I don't have an all out ban on AI generated responses and things, because if you use ChatGPT a lot, you can tell immediately when something was written by ChatGPT.
Yeah.
It's like glaringly obvious what it
Yeah.
is.
I
So
almost have to stop using hyphens. I
absolutely,
I
the
love
M
hyphens.
dash.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I think the way my brain jumps around. It's really and parentheticals. It's easy to get more
Yeah.
information in. I was actually thinking the other day I have to stop the M dash because
Mm-hmm.
somebody was like, "Oh, this chat oh God," and you weren't kidding. Oh no,
Oh yeah, GPT loves M dashes.
so funny. Well, I think we should let you go. Very generous of you to spend so much time with us today, you busy man.
And
Yeah.
we'll have you back and get into the nitty gritty.
Yeah, I definitely want to do
That
some
would be
nitty gritty
awesome.
with you.
Yeah. No.
So does Ben apparently. Where do people see your stuff and buy your prints and join your community and where else?
So I have a website coming soon. So that's exciting as well. That's the next phase in the whole growth of my brand. But you can
Great.
pretty much find me on any space under Reef Rookies. I
Okay.
had to add the with Logan on for Facebook because there was another guy who, like back in 2018, started a Facebook group called Reef Rookies. And I reached out to him to see if he would change the name or whatever, and he never responded. I don't think the guy's even on Facebook anymore.
Oh, I think that with Logan is a better name.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It's
I dig it.
it is. Yes.
Oh, thank
People-
God, Richard.
people-
Thank God.
Dot
People
dot
want-
dot.
People
Yes.
want to connect with somebody else. And if
I
you're
agree
if
with
you're
you,
Reef Rookies, but
yeah, this is just a group of bunch
but-
of beginners.
yeah, Logan actually responded to me. That's so cool.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it's a thing. So anyway, so
What's a face to a name?
can you tell us the name of the website yet, or do we want to wait on that?
It's going to be reefrookies.com. Just straight up,
Fantastic.
very easy. That's what it's going to be. We already have the domain and all of that. My wife is actually the one who's putting the site together, but she's working on her own site right now on a side project.
So we got Reef Rookies with Logan. And what about your 3D stuff? Where's the best place for
So
that?
that is all on Etsy. And if you go to Etsy and you search Reef Rookies, you'll find me. That's the best way to do it, really.
Okay.
But in any of my spaces, there's always a link in my bio to my link tree, and it has all my things on it.
Okay,
So
great, great,
if you
great.
go to my Facebook page, you can click my bio. My link is there. YouTube, same thing. TikTok, same thing. Link in bio sends you to my link tree, and they're all listed under there.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So
Okay, great. All right. Well, thanks for being on.
hey, I appreciate it a bunch. You know.
Yeah, I
Heck
can't. I can't. I'm just digging it.
A
Yeah.
rising tide lifts all boats.
And the cross pollination, I think, is going to be fun to watch.
Yeah,
Um,
that's going to be super cool. You know, Andrew from Polo said a similar thing to what you said. Is you know that he felt like I was the right person to take this part of the hobby. You know, getting the beginners in, getting them through the first year or so.
Yeah.
You know, then I can pass them off to the Salem Clemenses and the Julian Sprungs and
Well,
the people with the intense knowledge of the chemistry and things like that. You know, but they got to get in and stay in.
Yeah, you can, and the holding their hands in a. I just think you've done it right. All of the threads that brought you to here make me so happy. In the totality, because I've not seen another community run by somebody over time that I've gone, that's going to stay and it's doing it right, and
Yeah.
it's just good for the world instead of just just trying to maximize. I don't get a feeling that there's a hidden click farm behind you.
No,
You know what I
no, there's
mean?
definitely not. If there was, I'd probably be making a lot more money.
There's
And
no
don't let the
weird,
rabble rousers tear your
Yeah.
project up. Excise them like a cancer. No, Logan, man, we really appreciate you. And Godspeed, my man. We want you to keep kicking butt. And
Thank you very much. And I, if you don't mind, I would like to say one last thing, and I
do
promise
it.
I will
This
let
is
you
the
go.
last thing.
We do need experienced hobbyists in the group who can help field the questions. And a lot of people see it, Reef Rookies with Logan, and they're like, this is just a group for beginners, but it's not. It is a group for everyone. We want the people in who have the knowledge, who can answer the questions too. So,
there's another sneaky reason why I'm hanging out that I just realized.
well,
It's because I know two things. I know
And
I can drop my answer in there and run away if I need to and not follow up on it ever. As long as I'm not being a dick or, like we talked earlier. And I know other people are going to answer the questions in a way that is useful. I don't feel responsible at all. I feel like, oh God, Logan and Logan's people will answer this question in a way that's going to be helpful. And I don't have that anywhere else.
Well, if for absolutely nothing else, I'm glad that it is a space where you have found peace. That means a lot to me. I'm very big on that.
This episode brought
to you by saltwateraquarium.com,
Champion Lighting and Supply,
powered by PolypLab, and none of this would even be possible without beefers watching the show. So we also thank you as well.
Absolutely.
Toodles.
We'll see you on the flippities. This episode is hosted by Rich Ross and Ben Johnson. Guest Logan from Reef Rookies with Logan. Produced by Rich Ross and Snowman. Directed and edited by the inimitable Snowman. Thanks to our prime level beefers, Farhad and Joe's Corals Reef. And thanks to our gold level beefers, Alfie, Robert S., Ben J., Hannah, Bay Area Reefers, Brittany, Francois C., James B., Scott C., John W., Jim W., Adam S., Leslie S., and Rowan B. This podcast has won the most vulgar language aquarium podcast award from Vulgar Language Podcast Awards International for the last 3 years. Shut up.
I was like, wait, are you phoning that in?
It's great. It tickles my little. I want to read the forums because I always want to know, do I still have game?
Yeah.
So I like to look through and go, oh, okay. This is my answer. What did they say? This is my answer. But it gets so not good on some of the other groups.
Don't you know who I am?
It's so dumb. But on yours, it's like, oh, this is great. I can see really quickly. I can, you're answering so fast. So I could see if I agree with, if Logan agrees with me, and then that gives me a little dopamine hit.
Yeah.
I like beginners. I just, in the traditional way of talking with beginners, online in forums and groups, that has been unfulfilling for me. Yours is like, I can touch and go. I can sneak in instead of feeling like I have to be part of this.
And speaking of sneaking in, this is
yes.
us sneaking out.
Well, you do the commercials and we can get out. That's what I've been hoping you've been doing for the last 5 minutes.
Yes.
Say the words, the magic 3 words. So Ben, stop asking the guests questions when we're not recording.
Never.
A little bit of a premature question asking.
Yeah, me and Logan were like alone in the room, and you walked in, and we were like getting so close.
I ruined it.
Yeah, and you're like, "Hey guys," and I'm like, "Oh, dude."
Oh, wait,
With the bioluminescent anglerfish hat.
there.
Yeah.
That's how it's supposed to go.
There we go.
That makes
Yeah.
more sense. All right, do we want your story first, or do we want to hear about Logan's personal tank first?
Oh well, if well, that's up to Logan.
Oh no, it's not.
Let's
Stop
put
it.
the onus on him. Well, no, I thought we were doing the traditional, like you go, then I go. Then
Okay,
we
then
both-
go. Oh God,
Watch it.
Yeah,
that's my
You're-
little fetus.
Yeah.
When I'm
Cletus
trying
the
to-
fetus.
it is a fetus. I just got that. I'm very excited. Not a real one though.
So
And that's been Reef Beef. So enjoy.
Have fun.
The snowman's gonna hate this so much because we keep saying this is the last thing and then we don't do it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and you tasked me with it. Be gone. Thank you for watching Reef Beef. That is
This-
not 3 words.